Good afternoon, and welcome to We're Linking Up Iron Sharpens Iron for the November. I can't believe it. It's already November for the November um, webcast. So tonight I would like to start the segment by speaking about time poverty and a program that I have created, a workshop actually, to address what time poverty is and how companies can be mindful of this issue and employ strategies to make it better for everyone. So today's workplace has become more volatile than ever. Employee retention and productivity is plummeting due to a myriad of uncontrolled circumstances. However, there is one internal variable that business executives can tackle head on to, to increase employee retention and productivity. So, what is that magic pill that can keep employees loyal and earn more business revenue? No, it's not AI necessarily. It is the investment in the leadership and employees. A lurking culprit that can be found in nearly every organization is a fungus known as time poverty. Now, time poverty is referred by psychologists as an imbalance of time regarding work related and personal commitments. The time spent on obligational duties supersede the time dedicated for sleep and mental breaks. According to a 2024 Gallup poll, 62% of workers did not use paid leave days due to the overwhelming burden to be on at all times. Many Americans believe that working 50 to 60 hours per week is a badge of honor, while the toll of employee mental and physical health calculate with interest, leading to chronic illness and possible death. The impact of time poverty is particularly devastating for women who work full-time jobs while serving as a caregiver. So, yes, employees are showing up for work, but as work zombies and not the productive team members that they were hired to be. The experienced, valuable, and reliable employees are prone to quitting due to burnout. Well seasoned employees leave the workplace with a treasure trove of operational procedures that go with them. When employees have an adequate work life balance, they are healthier, happier, and more efficient. So, how can decision makers combat such a plaguing scenario? The Leadership Report Card Workshop can help. This 3-day spectacular event is for administrative leadership who desire to increase morale, productivity, and revenue through the investment of human capital. By the end of day 3, participants will enhance communication, embrace collaboration over competition, discover their inner leadership value, balance work life and personal life, and use their time more effectively, and so much more. If you're looking for a change, the change is within you. You can be the change. Let me show you how. For a free, non obligation consultation, please call 754 444-2969. And as always, is free to talk. So now I will jump into tonight's subject matter of storytelling marketing. Now, a lot of people want to reference this as a new tactic, but it is not. It is simple public relations. And most people mistake public relations with marketing and advertising. Now, marketing gives the details about your product or your service. However, public relations give the details about you, your business, and what you stand for and what principles you uphold. So, public relations is just as important as marketing. So, in a previous Iron Sharpens Iron, I mentioned that who you are, your beliefs, your values, principles, and character, the way you carry yourself, the way you conduct business, it reflects your 24/7 walking, talking, breathing, living business card. It is because of your walking, talking, breathing, living business card that people inquire about you. So, no matter what you're selling, the business owner will always be the product. Every product and service that has ever stood the test of time is connected to a story or a positive public relations line. Um, but it's not just any story, it's a story of trial and triumph, error and elevation, hard times and harvest. For example, everyone is familiar with Steve Jobs and how he transmutated the cell phone industry, and Dave Thomas, founder of Wendy's, who started out not so good in the beginning of his life, but became a self made millionaire, right? These entrepreneurs will forever be remembered because of their stories. So we patronize and preference goods and services of the underdogs who have made it. We even are inspired by their stories and are motivated to pursue excellence in our own domain because of human beings who have survived the ups and downs as it relates to pursuing their dreams. The moral of the story is, do not be ashamed of your story. It is your marketing power. The only thing there is to be ashamed of is giving up and losing hope, something that we've all been tempted to do, especially when it seems as if our efforts do not match what we're seeking to produce. Even if we must restart, rethink, redesign, rebuild, restructure, never let go, because you have something that is needed and wanted. So, how can key this? I'm sorry, I wrong script. So now you may be wondering what you what should be included in a storyline, right? What parts should you share? Is there anything that should be omitted? My advice would be to share the healed truths, and I will speak on that in more detail later. And I know, I know. You're a business owner. The objective is to make money and more money. And the fallacy is that when I'm rich, I will feel nothing but happiness. So my healing, my story, my journey has nothing to do with me making money. And I will say that this is a poor man's mentality, because a rich man, and when I say man, I'm speaking mankind, person, understands that money and tangible idols do not make you wealthy. These materialistic things are merely trinkets that must eventually be replaced, and most certainly will not fit into a casket. So, this is why your story matters, because with positive public relations and a tragedy to triumph story, you will have longevity forever. Your story will outlive you. And also, you will encourage others. And for me, it has to do with you will live forever and you will never die, because people will be talking about you and what you have achieved long after you are gone. And your story is yours and it cannot be taken away. So, whether it's in life or death, it's your story, it's yours. And it should be used not only for positive public relations, but again, to build a legacy that will in turn help others. Now, Jobs and Thomas are no longer with us, but we remember the value that they've added to the world. So there are some reservations, of course, as a leader, as a business owner, as to story-based marketing, or what is called or known in the academic world as public relations. So tonight I will tackle some of these concerns and provide solutions to overcome the said hesitations. Number one, I don't want to seem like I'm bragging. I do not want to be shunned for seeming too arrogant. I previously emphasized that not everyone will patronize you. Your business is for who it's for, and if people prefer you, then they prefer you. If they do not prefer you, then you're just not their cup of tea. And it's okay. Everyone has their opinions and their preferences and a right to choose. But minimizing um, your efforts, your struggles, your story will not change that. If if you are attracting people that gravitate towards you, and you flip up on them, you change, then then they're not gonna like you if you do that. But if you start off, um I'm jumping ahead, but if you start off authentically and just putting yourself out there, then you will attract the customers that you need to attract, and you will not have to jump through hoops or wear masks or costumes or scheme or come up with gimmicks to draw people to you. People will naturally be drawn to you because of who you are and what you stand for. So don't divert. Number two, I do not want to be publicly humiliated. I want to hide my struggles because I do not want to appear weak. Okay, so first of all, fear is a weakness. And I think we can all attest to that. And particularly fear of ridicule and public humiliation and shame in itself is debilitating. Anything that paralyzes you to the point where you cannot speak, that has power over you. Every decision that you make in life, in business, will be tainted by the plaguing thoughts of, I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want anyone to know that I'm struggling, so you hide. And again, this fear, it keeps you from growing, it keeps you from developing the problem solving skills necessary to move forward in the face of adversity. So um you want to deal with that, right? You want to understand that it's a growth process, and you cannot compare your journey to someone else. Now, you can be inspired by someone else's journey, but you cannot compare your journey to someone else because, again, it is your story. So it's more internal and a reflective type of growth that you must engage in. Number 3, I do not want to be judged. Spoiler alert, you're already being judged. Every time you step out the door, somebody's forming an opinion about you. Every time you speak, every time you're seen, someone is forming an opinion about you. So you're going to have to get over that, because particularly if you are going to be in business, one of the biggest lessons entrepreneurs, business owners, leaders must learn is that your vision is yours, and if you wait on hand claps and validation and outside affirmation, you will not stand the trials of the fire as it relates to growing and developing your business. And this is can be blanketed as a life um, mantra. This is just how it is. So everyone is entitled to their opinions, but yours is the only one that matters. So, if you're worried about being judged, no fear. You're already being judged by someone. And that's why I emphasize to be yourself, and um, who you are will naturally attract who is supposed to um, partner with you or patronize you or support you. Number 4, I don't want to seem incompetent. I want to appear to have it all together because, again, um, you may fear that it is a weakness to tell the truth. But again, spoiler alert, everyone is incompetent and unlearned in some capacity. Everybody is. No one has all the answers. No one knows every single thing. And everyone is going to make mistakes. So you can't fear that. That's just a part of life. Um, again, um, we're going to make mistakes. No one person has all the answers, and every day is a new day that we've never seen before. And we do not know what's going to happen from 1 minute to the next. So we can't like beat ourselves up because it's a new day and we have to pivot and try to strategize how to handle the day, like how to move forward, how to navigate within this day, because maybe what we relied on before has been outdated because it's a new day and things change from moment to moment. So we learn from the accumulation of our yesterdays, and all we can do is strive to be better the next day. Number 5, I would lose support, or it would be a barrier to obtaining support if I share my story. So, what I would like to address with that is unauthenticity. Say that 10 times fast. Unauthenticity is a barrier to losing support and being able to acquire support. So customers and investors cannot relate to a false narrative, because why? Eventually the truth is going to come out, and providing that false narrative deems you untrustworthy. If you cannot be trusted, you lose your earning potential, and eventually, like I said, the truth will be revealed. So lying and hiding or making up fake stories about who you are and where you come from, and all to try to entice a certain group of people, that's not going to work. And your business is going to crash and burn as soon as people know that, you have not been forthcoming with who you are and what you stand for. So if you're open and you're honest, you control the narrative, regardless of what anyone else says. It's like that power cannot be used against you. So someone can say, "Oh, well, I'm gonna tell," like siblings. Someone breaks the lamp, and one sibling says, "Oh, I saw you, and I'm going to tell. And if you don't do my chores for a week, I'm going to tell." So if you come forth and speak your own story and speak your own truth, then no one can hold that over your head, and you can control the narrative, and you can control the information and how it is presented, right? To me, that is very important. So again, while it is important to, tell your story because it's yours, right? And this is what sets you apart. And this is also a solid practice with developing public relations. And again, it's not the same thing as advertising and marketing. It is it's his cousin, but public relations has to do with uh, that positive image, what you stand for, and what your story is. So, while you're telling your story, you must be strategic in what you present, how you present it, where you present it, and how it will be released or distributed. So every personal story should be tied to an illustration of your diligence and work ethic. So it may be that, for example, you had, you were, let's just say you grew up in the foster care system and you were a runaway youth. So now you sell shoes. And when you talk and tell your story, you say, the reason why I went into business, what motivated me to sell these shoes is because of my beginnings, and this is where I was, and this is who I am today. And so it's nothing um, damaging about aligning the story up in that way. Because if someone was to say, oh, I've been rich all my life and I never had to struggle, that is unappealing. Number one, everybody loves the story of how an underdog uh, becomes the big dog. Everybody loves those stories. And also, it's not true. So if somebody finds out later, like, oh, no, they were in foster care and they're saying this, oh no. And that's how you quickly get what this culture calls cancel. Okay, so you have to be truthful and authentic with your story, and it needs to be tied to your work ethic and your motivation, and your positive strides toward changing the world for the better. I would also like to add that you start by sharing things that you've healed from, okay, with the motive of inspiring and encouraging others, like I mentioned before. So, no, not every detail needs to be exposed, but the details about where you've healed and where you've grown from, I would recommend that you talk about those things and use only the details that support or validate or illustrate or reinforce your ambitions, aspirations, and motivation. So that's what you talk about. If the story that you have is not connected to growth, perseverance, in overcoming obstacles, then it's not a detail that needs to be shared. Okay? So there's that. Tragedy to triumph storytelling is solid public relations. So if you stick to that, then that is a win. A positive and encouraging storyline speak volumes with regards to who you are and what you stand for, and people will definitely gravitate to that. Even people who may not have known anything about your business, anything about your product or service, they may hear your story and say, you know what, I was in that position before, or I can connect because I felt that same way, and then they will be interested in seeing what you have to offer. So, um, that would conclude tonight's presentation. This is, well, we have one more iron sharp, iron sharpens iron episode to go, and it's December the 17th at 6:30 Eastern. So this is your last chance to gain visibility by becoming a guest speaker on the final episode of the year, the December episode. And if you would like to contribute to Iron Sharpens Iron, please email me at info at info dot Broward can read all together BROWARDCANREAD at gmail.com. And thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again December 17th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.